Welcome to On the Road with Ice Castle. Brought to you by Reed Sporting Goods and Granite City Motor Car. All right, welcome, Joe. We are here with our second podcast here, and it's great to have you as a guest. We Joe and I go way back.
Oh yeah,
way back to our radio / TV days here.
Star 96.
Yeah, Star 96, and obviously a lot of time is we keep in touch. We see each other quite a bit. You're doing your thing over at Outlet Recreation.
You got it.
This podcast is being brought to you by Reed Sporting Goods. Great
Awesome.
people at Reed Sporting Goods. You probably run into them at all the sports shows you do, and
Never had a bad word to say about Reeds. They're great.
yeah, they do a great job. Whether you're in the store or ordering online, go ahead and order or talk to the salespeople. Their salespeople are second to none. They know the products. They can talk you through whether you're looking for a live scope or you're looking for, jigs and all that stuff. They will take care of you and they'll make sure that you get the right thing. I also like to say a special thanks to Granite City Motor Car, Steve Bright and his crew out there. We had to with the Bear Cave, we had to get a new truck because the other one wasn't big enough to pull it. So we had to upgrade to the 1 ton. And one of the things that I love about Granite City Motor Car is they will customize, just like Ice Castle will customize your Ice Castle. When you want something, you tell them what you're looking for. And it's called their concierge service. Ask them about the concierge service. They'll go out, source the car or truck that's right for you, and they'll even park it in your driveway. So it makes it really easy. So again, thanks to our sponsors. This is kind of a new thing for Ice Castle, and it's kind of fun because we're going to have a lot of different guests on, people like Joe and other interesting guests that we come along that just to tell their stories about ice castles, how they use them, how they spend time with family. Fishing is just one part of it nowadays with Ice Castle, and they're a complete RV, so people obviously use them all the time. So
I gotta tell you, first of all, the Bear Cave. This thing is hot.
Yeah.
This is nice.
What do you think of the name?
I love the name. It's just it's so close to Man Cave, but the Bear Cave, outdoors, it just wraps it all up. The sidewalls caught my attention right away. 96-inch sidewalls.
Yeah.
This thing is bad. I like it.
Well, part of the reason, the original reason we needed enough space to do these podcasts in here. So we needed some wall height, right? So we have the drop down bed up there. Mm-hmm. We've got the neon throughout, and obviously they can't see it right now because we're just looking one way here. But so we needed some space. So we went with the 96-inch sidewalls. It really gives the appearance
it's huge.
that there's a lot of space here.
Well, you got the live well. You got how many TVs? 4?
Well, we got 4 TVs. It could, someone could make the argument that it's a little bit of overkill, but we have big plans for them. Like we planned that the Vikings would be in the Super Bowl, so that
right.
TV up there on the left was going to be for the Vikes, but that's not happening this year, right?
Next year.
So the other TV is planned for live scope, and that would be that one. The front TV when we have remote guests also helps us with the podcast. And then we have this one back here, this one back here, which obviously we can watch big screen and all that stuff.
That's sweet.
And then we have the oops, there, we don't knock that over. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. We have the couch back here. The other thing, Joe, that we did, and I think it's kind of cool, is up front we have 2 slide outs. We have the rear slide out, and then we have the one up front. We went with the longer slide out up front because oftentimes we felt like on this one, 68-inch, I think this one.
Yeah.
So the 68-inch for me and you and Brady, that's not long enough to be able to sleep on it right now. It's great the way it is, but if you want to sleep on that, it gets a little narrow. So we went with the longer one up front, which is awesome. So we can slide that out, and actually, we're going to do an aftermarket lift bed up there that we can also lift down, so it'll give us another spot. So we've got a lot of space in here.
That's the great thing about ice castles and customizing them. When you do the build, you can do just about anything. I mean, you get the footprint down, and you got it, and then you just kept going with it. Just made it yours.
Well, not to mention, I mentioned in our last podcast, we have, I kind of got a frog in my throat. Sorry about that. But we put all the cameras in here. So there's more wire in the sidewalls here than you can imagine. So it takes a lot to do a podcast, with all the wires and the cameras and all that stuff. So our plan is to get out and about and talk to people. And it's first up, I thought, call my friend Joe, and here you are.
Yeah, I love it. I'm more than happy to talk about this. I think it's fantastic getting on the road. People are gonna be knocking on the door, and I want to see this. I mean, this is an eye catcher.
Yeah, and keep in mind this is a little different model, but if you like this kind of model, what I really like, one of the things I like most are these recliners.
Yeah.
Because these recliners you can move anywhere. We've got 3 recliners, and so if you're a bigger guy and you need to be a little further from your hole, that works. If you have a longer pole, you're maybe fishing lake trout and you need something like that you can control how far you are. But also, the other night last week we were up at Red Lake. We did not go on the water, so I don't save the comments.
Right.
But we're getting close now. We're on our way, and I think Marlis said today. I talked to her up at Greater Minnesota Rentals, and they're getting close. A lot of them are on the ice already. The big ones like this, probably close to this weekend, but don't take my word.
Yeah.
Talk to the experts and make sure that you are safe, because that's obviously a big part. But yeah, so we're excited to get it out, and we put the bear cave to the test, I guess.
That's the key is, so a lot of times people get their ice castles and they camp in it, in their little driveway camping.
Yeah.
Get used to it and then get out there, but be prepared. Be prepared for anything. I think that if you're prepared to have fun,
Yeah.
but if there's problems, I mean, these things are going down the road at 70 miles an hour, you're going to have some kind of problem, but just be prepared, and then just you're ready for all the fun and not the headaches.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, we might as well start there. I was gonna ask you a little bit about sports here. I probably will, but what, people have been chomping at the bit a little bit. They probably had theirs out. What are some things that they should consider when they get the ice castle out for the first time? Maybe they just bought it, and just because you bought an RV, whether it's an ice castle or any other one, you can potentially have some things that, some screws that come loose or something, whatever.
Yeah.
So you want to just kind of check things over and always make sure that you're just doing a once over before you go out to be prepared.
That's just it. I brought along some supplies, and these are limit switches. They're igniters. These are things for your furnace.
Okay.
So when you are out there and your furnace goes out, you want to be able to diagnose it. So have some inner knowledge of how the furnace works, so you can replace a part and not have to go home.
Yeah.
I do also recommend a second heat source. So if your furnace goes out,
Yeah.
you maybe have a sunflower or something like that.
Just enough. And so, the fireplace too, surprisingly, we didn't even have to stoke it up. We just turned the switch on, but
Oh, yeah.
obviously they provide a little bit of heat. So
About 4,000 BTU, so
Yeah.
it will heat this up. I mean, this is a big ice castle, but it's a good heat source.
it
Absolutely.
certainly take the edge off. And what else comes to mind before they go out?
Well, making sure you got your supplies. We already looked at the slush inhaler. This will take the slush out after you cut the holes with your auger. I got borrowing some supplies as well. This is a Northern Lights rattle reel, Rick.
Okay.
And that will light up as well and rattle, so you can put those up so you don't have to hold the pole and all that good stuff. Hey, before you get there, you want to know who's behind you. How about an observation camera?
I was just thinking about that the other day. And so tell me how that works. I'm going to switch your mic here just a little bit. Just
There
so
you
it's
go.
a little more head on. So that gets mounted on the back. Mm-hmm. And then is it Wi-Fi or what is it?
It's Wi-Fi. Yep, absolutely, and or Bluetooth. I think there's options for it. But it's not just a backup camera, which is a lot of people just think, well, it's just for backing up. I like it as an observation camera, so it's on all the time.
Yep.
Because as you know, when you're towing things, people want to get ahead of you
Yep.
and then slow down.
Yep.
Little game they play. They don't want to be behind a big rig.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So then you know what's behind you, and when you're out in the lake, there's so many factors you want to just be able to be observant of all that.
I really like that. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, we'll set that aside here for a minute here. Sleeve covers. You know, you got the sleeve cover where you don't.
Or I call them cell phone covers.
Exactly, exactly. Keys,
Keys, kids,
kids, have
small
been known-
dogs.
Yep, exactly.
Sometimes the fish that I catch will go through those holes. They're so small.
Sleeve covers.
Yep,
I
love
got-
them.
You
Love them.
won't be able to see it now, but this is a glow in the dark one.
Nice.
And two different styles.
Yep.
So I'll get those back out of the way here. And then, okay, here we go. Banging around a little bit, making a little noise here in the bear cave.
Yeah. Bear
high-
Cave can handle it.
The bear cave can handle it. This is a high a regulator, a high flow regulator.
Yep.
So, you know, up in red, you know, it gets to be 20 below, 40 below, whatever. Maybe your regulator on your propane tanks freeze up. That's where you go with the bad boy, the big boy.
And so, what does that do?
It just allows better flow.
Okay.
It's a greater chance that it won't freeze up.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is the? You can just set that down by your feet or whatever. What is the? What do you feel or hear as a temperature? Kind of a standard temperature when people start to have problems. Any idea?
Yeah, negatives. I mean,
Negatives?
the negatives, and
Yep.
you know, the slides and the the hydraulics and well, us too. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't move around that well and make a -40.
Yep. Yep.
But you know but that's another great thing about this bear cave is you got the hydraulics. You need the hydraulics.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm too old to do the crank. Although, some people don't mind the crank. They work great. But it's sure nice to be able to hit the button and just take off.
we're getting to that point, and not just us, but we're getting to the point in this industry where more people want to work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
And you can get the drill bit and crank them
Yep.
on the cranks, but I like hydraulic too. That's where I go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about let's talk about outlet recreation. Tell me how long you've been there. Tell me a little bit about the company.
Sure.
Some of the products you sell. I mean, obviously, are we through the accessories kind of?
Pretty much. I mean, I brought along a rattle reel. I mean, these are pretty basic stuff.
Yep. Yep.
And then I got some wheel skirts.
Okay.
But I don't have to show that.
Yeah.
Wheel skirts, people know what those
Yeah.
are. It just increases the opportunity for a good time.
Yep.
And just keeps everything more insulated.
Yeah. So you're not getting that draft coming up in your hole. and
Yeah,
stuff, right?
exactly. But as far as me, I'm coming up on 7 years. We've got our show in February, and I started 7 years ago with Outlet Recreation. We've got 4 locations that sell ice castles and other fish houses as well. But ice castle is our main brand without question. I mean, 20 to 1, you're out in the lake, you see them.
Yeah. they're-
Fargo, Cross Lake, Detroit Lakes, and of course Clearwater right off of 94, and that's the store I work at.
Okay. Awesome. What so let's talk a little bit about the process. Someone comes in, they're looking for an ice house. They're looking for what's the walk me through how it works from your standpoint. What are some tips, recommendations when they're looking for their first ice house or maybe to upgrade?
So there's some pretty standard questions I ask all the time. And first of all, budget. How much do you want to spend? What's your top? Are we going new or used? 8x17, 8x29. We've got stub noses. We've got the small grandpa's hideouts that are 6.5 by 10. How are you going to use it? Are you going to use it in the summer? Are you going to use it as a for the fall for camping and hunting and hunting shack? So those are the main questions, and then I get them out there and walk in them and find out what you like about it, because the build process I can basically make a transformer. I can take that window and put it in an 8x17. I can put the electric lift bed we've got and put that in any combination of an 8x16, 8x17. Then you can look at the add-ons like a gray water bypass, which allows you to drain the water in the summer if you're using the shower, sink, and so on. So I want to get people excited about walking into it, because as you know, once you have it at home, it'll never look the same. You'll be adding your nuances and everything. So, but start with a good footprint and make it yours.
Well, that's a good way, and you don't necessarily. I think you being an expert at it, you're able to point out some things when they come in. For instance, if mom and dad are 5'7", this length of bed will work.
Right.
If they're 6'1" or whatever, you need to consider it. Even the drop down bed. This bed's a little wider. It's a full queen size one that we put in here. because you want to be able to have a couple in there. So you need to consider those things like, are you going to sleep alone? Are you going to sleep with your wife?
Yes.
You better bring your wife sometimes, right? Or you got to keep peace in the house, right?
I was on a couple, not to name drop, but a couple years ago, I was on WCCO TV, and I basically was saying this is not your grandpa's fish house anymore, and moms are getting involved right from step one. They want to, okay, you know what, we're using this thing for camping, so I want to be involved on how we're going to set things up, and the chairs, the tables, and all that stuff is something to be considering. And they're just, I mean, to steal a line from European Vacation, this is the family truckster.
Yeah.
People are going places, man.
Clark, that there is an RV.
You got it.
One thing that I would say is one of my favorite things about this. We had the one last year, and I was up at my sister and brother-in-law's place in the summer, and the things that this is built for in the winter help you equally in the summer. Yeah. Because it's well insulated. Spray foam insulation. Most of them go with the spray foam insulation now.
Yeah.
So that means it's great for summer. So compared to some of the RVs, certainly not knock. I know you sell other RVs. We'll talk about that another time. But the thing about these is they're made for extremes.
They are absolutely hot and cold.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, the AC, and you use it 4 seasons. You can use everything. Almost everything. You can use the toilet in the winter, but you just got to use antifreeze or washer fluid because you're not using the plumbing.
Yeah.
That's just because it'll fill the tank up, but it won't freeze the tank, and it won't expand.
And you have options for that too, for like portable toilets. A lot of people use those things, which is really nice. The other thing that I'd mention about maybe this type of a drop down wheelhouse is that when you drop it down, it's stable. And a regular RV, even with the braces in there, doesn't quite get 100% stable. So when you have to, someone gets up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you feel it rock a little bit.
Yep.
When you're on the ground, you don't feel anything rock.
And you don't have to step up to get into it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people really love. Because when they're on their lot looking at things, Rick, it's all of a sudden they're like, oh, I didn't have to step up to go in. I didn't have to grab the bar. I didn't have to go on those steps. But it's all good, man. It's right on the ground and nice and solid, like you mentioned.
We shot an Ice Castle commercial last year up on a lake by Alexandria, and we had a group of elderly kind of people came by, and they're like, "Wow, this is incredible!" And that was the thing they pointed out. They were like, "We don't have to step up." Yep. So that's another thing. So back to outlet. Tell me about your products. Talk a little bit more about some of your products.
Well, we've got boats, we've got campers, which include fifth wheels, travel trailers, which is like what we consider a pull behind.
Yep.
The fifth wheel and RVs, Class A, Class C, Class B. Just the when you think of like the Madden Cruiser, we're talking sports again.
Yep.
The big Class A with the huge window. We have those, and then we have the Class C's, which drive more like a truck. We got all types of pontoons, and you name it. New and used, just got a little bit of everything. And we take trades, so it's one of those things that we don't know what's coming on the lot next. It's kind of fun.
That's cool. So how did it start? What was the concept? It started in St. Cloud, or where did it start?
It started in Fargo.
Okay.
And from there, they branched into different locations. Our last one is Cross Lake.
Yep.
The ownership group decided that we wanted to be more mom and pop.
Yep.
So we're kind of a dealership that is big enough to get a lot of product, but not too big where it's you're just cookie cutter. You're just not a number when you walk in. We're very transparent. That's the word I like to use, because we don't have hidden fees. Not to get too much into the process of sales, but when someone comes in and looks at a camper or an RV, I just don't think they want to have all the games. I don't think they want to have the destination fee or the origination fee or this fee or the I'm a cool guy named Joe fee. I mean, it's just.
Although if anyone could get that fee, I think Joe would be the guy to get the fee.
Rick,
just slide it right in there.
Just get her in there. I always get around. I accept tips.
Yeah.
I've gotten one.
It actually does kind of drive me crazy. You go to any restaurant now, even just a fast food restaurant, and the tip thing, I'm like, really?
It's gone a little over the top.
Hey, I feel guilty not hitting that, but I'm like, when I used to pay 7 and now I'm paying 15, and they want to tell, yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, I went to the Vikings. I go to Vikings games every now and again, and they'll turn the thing around for you, and you're tipping to get a beer,
that's
or a hot
$40.
dog.
I had a brat and 2 drinks at the Wild game, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was pushing $50.
Yeah, easily.
I'm like, yeah, it's getting a little crazy, but
Well, my son and I, when we go to the games, we eat before we go there.
yeah.
It saves a little bit.
Well, that's what do you think of the Wild this year?
If they can get that injury bug out of them, they could do some stuff. It's been tough.
Yeah, I have a little wager on the Wild. One of our friends, mutual
Sure.
friends,
I think I know
we
what you're talking
bet.
about.
I only bet like big things that I don't have to, like season things.
Right.
How will the Vikes do? How will the Wild do? Because I'm not a huge better, but I was doing really well with my buddy. I think I was 3 in a row, and I bet that the Wild would be in the playoffs this year.
I may or may not have had this similar bet with the Vikings with that similar person, and I didn't win that one out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So it's not looking good, but I do like some of their young. I mean, I do love some of their young talent, and I have big hopes for them. And even the new goaltender Jesper, what's his last
I
name?
can't think of his name.
Wall something.
Wahlberg or
Yeah. Anyhow, I think he's going to be great. So, so you have a lot of big things coming up. You're kind of wearing 2 hats right now. You have winter, which now the crack is finally healed.
Yep,
It's the
right.
year of the crack.
Yes,
Need some
yeah.
crack real bad.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of people that were stuck out there, and it was interesting. Those lakes. I mean, I don't know what they do when someone's stuck there. Do they get the equipment too?
Yeah. In fact, we were talking. We did our first podcast. We had some people from Cookies and a couple of the resorts up there, Greater Minnesota Rentals, and they were talking about one of the guys. Was also on the fire department, and so we had a little conversation about that process. And it's there's a lot of haters on Facebook about why are you on and it's
I know.
there's a crack that just gets shifted, and I don't want to go and spend a lot of time, but it's definitely been an interesting year, and I think it's now heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that people are excited that they're still going to get some of the season. The local lakes here are really making ice well, and just be a little patient. And
There's not a lot of snow, so that's good.
Yeah.
So you have some sports shows coming up.
we do.
Tell me about those.
Yeah, so we'll have a show that this is the second year we've had it up in Brainerd. It's at the old Union Railroad Station. Really cool setting.
That is a cool. I was at a wedding there.
Isn't that just
Yeah,
awesome?
it's really awesome.
Yeah, so we'll fill that with campers, RVs, and some ice castles. But that we're really kicking off the RV season early. In February, we'll have a show at the Civic Center,
Okay.
the Sportsman Show.
When is the one up at? When is the one in Brainerd?
In Brainerd, it's late January. I believe it's the 26th, right around there.
Okay. Yeah.
You can go to our website and find that stuff, outletrecreation.com. And then the show we have in St. Cloud at the Civic Center, that's Super Bowl weekend.
That's cool. That's cool. Let's talk a little bit about some of the. We talked about the accessories. Let's talk about customizing from your standpoint. What are some of the things that are your biggest customization things on ice castles?
Well, you've got a couple of them, and I congratulate you on that for having the site to just to know what you're looking for. Ceiling fans, they're going to the 110 now.
Yep.
Rather than a 12 volt.
Yep.
A lot of them have reversible, so you can suck the air up or push it down.
Yep.
Yours has that. I like the electric lift beds. That's something that is almost 100% on my builds.
Yeah.
But I got 3 builds today. Knock on wood that we keep getting them. They're coming off the line really fast.
Yep. That's good.
And one of them was a Honey Hole XL. It's an 8x17. That's just got the jackknife open back. Pretty basic, but they really want to know how they're going to be using it, and that's the key for me. Just to talk around it and where you're putting the doors, and just so many little things that where are the plugins? Are you going to have some, 12-volt plugins for battery chargers or camera or phone chargers? And then just dream a little dream, have a little fun.
Yeah, you can so you can walk them through everything, have them come in, ask for Joe. Again, I forgot about I was going to try to I was thinking of maybe getting one of these in one of the sports shows and doing a podcast from there.
Dynamite. Well,
would that be fun?
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, the podcast thing is something that's taken off. I know it's not brand new, but there's so many different topics you can talk about, and it just makes it interesting. And having different guests and different topics, it's just a great way for people to get some entertainment, but also some knowledge on things.
So I would say I always hate when I watch podcasts and they say hit the like and subscribe button. You know the story. If you want to see more of this, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll probably do it because that's what you do, I guess. But the other thing is that we have. I would love to get people's feedback on what topics they would like to hear on the podcast.
That's huge.
Yeah. If you have put them in the comments. Do you have some things you'd like us to cover? I think that would be great. And then the other thing is, Joe, maybe how do they get a hold of you, like personally? And then you can tell them about the bear cave. I challenge you, sell some bear caves.
I want photos.
Yeah.
I want photos. And I'll drop this podcast on my Facebook, social media, all my social media outlets. I love helping friends out. I mean, you're a good friend, you're a good person. Like you said, we've known each other for such a long time. And if you don't know Rick well enough, he's always got a smile on his face and a kind word to say about you. And he's genuine. You're genuine. You're a very genuine guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Flattery will get you.
And yeah, exactly. And those wild tickets, right?
Yeah. So, so get a hold of Joe. How do they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at the store, outletrecreation.com. 320-558-6999. Easy number to remember. Google us. I'm on social media. Drop me a line. Drop me a note. Sell a lot of units on Facebook Marketplace. So if you want to kind of peruse our different inventory, you can do that at outletrecreation.com. And love to talk to anybody about the process. This is fun.
Yeah.
People ask me what I do, Rick, and I say I sell fun.
I when I come in and see you once in a while, you again also I'll always have a smile on your face, no matter if you're selling anything for the day or not, and I applaud you for that. You always have a great attitude, and so it's good to work with you. So last question.
All right,
we're gonna fold her down here in a second. Who are the Vikings going to take as their number one? They pick number 11. Who are they going to take as their number one draft pick?
Before the championship game, I was thinking Penix, the Washington quarterback. I don't know what his stock did. It probably didn't go up.
Yep.
I would like them to take a quarterback, and I'd like them to get Kirk Cousins next year, and JJ and Darisaw, and I don't know if they can afford Hunter as well.
Yeah.
But I think they meld a quarterback. Let's get 2 more years out of Cousins, and then get that.
I think that's I like that scenario, and I actually kind of say Cousins really proved his worth here by, and I'm sure there's plenty of Cousins haters, but you can't argue the fact that the productivity was not the same after he was off the field.
We missed him. So,
yeah. Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. Let's do this again sometime. What do you say?
I'd love to do this.
All right. Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, once again, thanks for stopping by the podcast. And again, special thanks to our sponsors, Granite City Motor Car and the good people over at Reed Sporting Goods in Walker. If you're looking for a car, Granite City Motor Car. If you're looking for a jig, Reed's. If you're looking for a gun, Reed's. You're looking for anything in the sports world, give them a call up in Walker or check out their website. They always have great specials on their website going on. Again, if you have a topic or something you want us to cover, feel free to put it in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. Second time I said that when I said I wasn't going to, but we need all the help we can get. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time, Joe.
All right, Rick. Thanks so much for the invitation.
All right.